Welcome to Voices from the Abyss. Every week, we descend into another story where the water is dark, the silence is heavy, and not everything waiting beneath the surface has stayed there. So turn the lights down, get on your flippers, and if you enjoy stories that make you afraid to get into the bathtub, don't forget to follow. And if there's a fear, a legend, or a deep-sea nightmare you'd like to hear brought to life, leave it in the comments. You never know. Your idea might be the next one to rise from the depths. Now, take a deep breath. We're going under. Every place has its stories. The old bridge you're not supposed to cross after dark. The stretch of road people avoid. The patch of woods where someone always swears they heard a voice within the trees. Most people laugh these stories off until one day somebody calls your name. This is Shin Deep. Vanessa had the trail to herself. 4 miles in, the light going orange and low through the pines, engine noise drowning out all of the chaos going through her mind. She made a trade every Thursday evening. Gas money for peace. She was slowing for the switchback above Miller Creek when she thought she heard something. She stopped and listened. A kid's voice, thin and cracked, carrying up out of the ravine.
Help! Somebody help!
She cut the engine and leapt off her quad. The ditch was steep, loose shale sliding under her boots. She went down it sideways with one hand dragging the brush for balance. At the bottom, the creek ran shallow and black in the dusk, maybe 20 feet across. Hey, where are you?
Help!
Further down now. She followed it. The light went from orange to gray. Dusk had fallen. She didn't notice. She was focused on the voice that was staying just ahead of her, just around the next bend. It sounded close enough that stopping and turning around would feel like giving up on a kid who needs her in the next 10 seconds. Then splashing. Quick steps slapping across the water. A shadow breaking for the tree line slow and fast. It was gone into the dark before she could get a look at it. Wait! Hey, it's okay! I'm coming! She took a few steps into the creek to cut across. About halfway across, her right leg went down to the shin in mud. The rocks hidden in the sludge felt like teeth against her skin. She threw her weight back, but her leg didn't move. The muck had her. She looked up towards the tree line and saw eyes, low to the water, maybe 3 feet up, catching what little light was left and reflecting it back flat and silver. She took a deep breath and made herself sound calm. A scared kid needed calm, not a screaming woman stuck in a creek bed. Hey, sweetie. It's okay. My name's Vanessa. I'm stuck, see? I'm stuck right here in the mud. I can't come to you. Can you find me a stick? Or a branch? Something I can grab onto? I just need something to pull on. Nothing. The eyes didn't blink, didn't move. Hey, kid. I need you to talk to me, okay? Nothing. The mud had climbed to her knee now. It was cold and slick, giving her a bad case of the heebie-jeebies. She yanked at her leg and felt it hold her tighter for the effort. Something in her cracked open into anger, derived from the panic that was growing inside. Okay, look. You want to get out of here or not? Because I'm stuck, and it is getting dark. And if you don't help me, we are both going to be in serious trouble. Do you hear me? Nothing. Not even the small sounds kids make when they're scared. No sniffling, no whimpers, no nervous breathing. Just the creak moving around her legs and the eyes sitting flat, not acknowledging her at all. Do you understand me? Blink or something. The eyes started to rise. 3 feet, then 6, then 10. Like a marionette being pulled by unseen hands. The 2 silver points never wavering, never blinking, climbing straight up from the edge of the black water until they hung there against the tree line.
Help.
She screamed. She yanked at her leg in blind panic until her knee threatened to come right out of its socket. By the time she stopped fighting, long enough to look back, the eyes were gone. Just the creek and the trees and full night pressing in from every direction. She stopped screaming because that took energy, and she didn't know yet how much energy she needed. The night went on, and she didn't know if she could trust her eyes anymore. Off to her left, something moved through the brush in 3 quick steps before going still. And when she snapped her head toward it, there was nothing there but a patch of dark, slightly darker than the dark around it. It stayed there like it knew exactly how long she could stare before she had to blink. Off to her right, dead leaves crunched in a rhythm too even to be an animal. 1, 2. 1, 2. Then a pause, like pacing back and forth. She heard her name, low and almost sweet, from somewhere behind her in a voice that didn't belong to the creek, or the woods, or any child. She turned so fast, her back seized. And there was nothing there either. Just trees. Voices came from all directions. A woman laughing, wet and ominous. A man's voice, whispering incoherently. Something that might have been her own voice, thin and far off, saying help in a register she didn't recognize as her own. Shapes moved along both banks. Tall, hunched shadows with too much joint in their limbs. Antlers, or branches, or both. Thin as famine. Folding down into the brush the instant she turned her head, and unfolding again when she looked away. Something crawled at the edge of her vision, always at the edge, never head on. Black hair dragging wet across the stones, elbows and knees bending in directions that they shouldn't. Its head canted at an angle painfully sharp. It moved in short, dragging bursts. 3 fast, scrambling steps low to the ground, then a full stop. Joints locked, utterly motionless, like something had paused a film. Then 3 more. Its movement was never smooth, never once continuous. She wanted it to stop, wanted it to just be her imagination. Then, far off, dead center in the creek, something stepped into the water where the moon caught it and stared towards her. It started moving, with patience, a few strides upright, 2 long-legged knees bending backwards at the last joint. Then it dropped and covered 10 feet low and fast on all fours, hair dragging a black wake across the water, and stopped dead and stood back up. Antlers cut ragged against the sky, ribs showing through the skin, pale and blue, its wet rope of hair swinging with each stride. Then it went down again, scrabbling, joints folding wrong, closing the distance in a burst before locking still for 3 full seconds, like something had hit pause on it. Upright, down, 100 feet, became 80, then 40, in the same broken rhythm, and no face yet through all of it. By the time it was close enough to smell, it was like creek rot and something underneath. Something horrible. And in that moment, Vanessa had stopped being afraid. Fear had cooked itself down into something harder. The creature leaned until its face was an inch from hers, hair curtaining around them both, and it said in a voice like stones grinding underwater,
"I'm going to eat your soul."
Vanessa spat in its face. "Bring it on." "What the hell, lady?" The voice that came back wasn't stone and water. It was a man, sputtering, and the face in front of her wasn't a face, but a flashlight beam, swinging wild. And behind it, a DNR officer in a rain jacket, hip deep in the creek, wiping his cheek with the back of his hand and looking at her like she'd lost her mind. Because, well, she had. A little. For a few hours, anyway. There were no antlers, no hair dragging black across the water. Just a DNR officer named Dwayne, who'd been crouched in front of her for the last 10 minutes trying to talk her down, while his partner radioed it in. And who had just gotten spit on for his trouble. "We found your four-wheeler up on the road with the keys still in the ignition. Been out here 3 hours looking for you." He wiped his face again and had the decency to sound more confused than angry. "Who in God's name did you think I was?" Vanessa opened her mouth to answer and found she didn't have one that would make sense. "Just help me out of the mud," she said instead. "I'll tell you on the way back." Thank you for listening to Voices from the Abyss. If tonight's story stayed with you, click the follow button to make sure you never miss what surfaces next. Until next time, sleep well, and remember, not every abyss is underwater. Good night.